Swadikap. My name is Arfindee Abru, sales engineer farm from INVE Aquaculture, Thailand. Today we would like to share one of the success story from the farmer in Thailand, our INVE customer, farm name Ekachai farm. Ekachai farm located in the quite central of Thailand. We call the Ratchaburi province. From the map, you can see the red area. This province is quite inland area, so they quite difficult to access to the seawater. So that means in the farm area, they are quite low salinity area. Surround the farm, the salinity there is about 5 to 7 ppt. So with this limitation factor, this farm, they decide to do the 100% water recirculating. So that means they will not flush the water from the farm, from the system, culture system out. And then also they quite limit to intake the water from outside to reduce the risk from the contamination. Here is the layout of the farm. You can see there are 5 colors of the pond here. First, you can see the blue color. Yeah, three box of blue color. This is the grow out pond, and one small round. That one is the nursery unit. And then the next one is the green pond. They are discharge pond. And after the green pond, this is the orange pond. We call that pond is the slush pond or waste pond. And then above the green pond, this is the small white box. This is the treatment unit. And above the white box, this is the 3 light blue one. This is the reservoir pond or the ready to use water pond. So the flow through of the recirculating system in this farm, you can see the water from the grow out pond or blue pond. When the farmer, they discharge the water from the grow out pond, they will go through the blue arrow from the culture pond, go to the green pond or the discharge pond. But in case the farm, they discharge the slush or the waste from the central drain or the toilet, the waste will go through the orange arrow from the blue pond, go direct to the orange pond. And then from the orange pond, the surface water, they will overflow, go to the discharge pond again, the green pond. And in this green pond, they put a fish there, like a tilapia fish, to act like a biofilter. So this fish will consume the overplankton and also use the organic in the pond and balance the water. Then the water from the green pond will go through the treatment unit. In this treatment unit, they will use 2 kinds of chemical. The first chemical is the polyaluminum chloride. And then the second one is the chlorine solution, 10%, to disinfect the things in the water. And then after that, the water will go to the light blue pond number 1, and overflow to pond number 2, overflow to pond number 3. And in pond number 3, they will keep water for ready to supply to the grow out pond again. This flow through will running 24 hours to make sure in case the grow out pond need the water, they can supply immediately. Okay, now we come to the first phase of the culture. This farm, they use the nursery. They consider to use the nursery because they confident with the nursery system, they can control the quality of the animal, the health of the animal, and free of disease. In case the animal come with the disease and there are some mortality during their nurse, so they can immediately discharge the water, not stock into the grow out pond, to reduce the contamination from phase 1 to phase 2 and contamination in the system also. The nursery in this farm, the tank size is about 170 metric ton, with the stocking density 850,000 PL or 5 shrimp per liter. In the nursery, they use a bit higher salinity by mix the water with the higher saline water at the 18 ppt. And they do the water exchange 2 times per day and feed 6 times per day. You can see the construction on the right hand side, the top picture, and the bottom picture is the nursery unit, the round pond, and with the aeration. For the feed in the nursery, because in the nursery they are small area, so the amount of usage of feed, they can use lesser number. So this farm, Ekachai farm, they confidence to use the high quality feed. Even the high quality feed is more expensive compared to the normal one, but because the amount of use is lower, so they can invest. They confident to invest in quality feed. Here they use two type of the feeding. They use first one is Sano S-Pack. This is the immune enhancer in the feed form to promote the shrimp to boost up the immune system in their own. And then the second one is a free pack raceway. This is the high nutrition feed for the PL to boost up the growth. You can see on the right hand side, the top picture and the bottom picture, the animal is look slightly orange or slightly red. This because they consume S-Pack. With the S-Pack, when the animal consume, you can see a reddish color from the hepatopancreas and also from the body. Very clear for if you compare with the animal that not consume the S-Pack, they consume only the grow up feed, the animal will look darker compared to the S-Pack feed. And on the bottom left, you can see the table of the feeding. During the customer, Ekachai farm, they do the nursery. INVE, we will send our team, our technical team, to help them, to guide them, and to work with them. How is to manage the feed per day? How is the number? What is the amount per day to provide the animal? And what kind of the product, health product, diet product to put in the program? For example, here you can see we put the raceway, we put the S-Pack, and also we will have the other product, health product like Pro2, like Top S and Pro W, to make the environment in the nursery is suitable for the animal to grow. And beside the feed, we also help the customer to monitor the water quality. In here, you can see the sample of the graph of some parameter. For example, temperature, oxygen, dissolved oxygen, pH. The dissolved oxygen is very important parameter. So we need to make sure they are not lower than 5 ppm. If they are lower than 5 ppm, the animal will get problem. Okay, beside the diet, we also use some health product in the nursery system. In here, Ekachai farm, they decide to use 4 items. The first item is a Pro W. This one is the probiotic, high concentrate probiotic powder form to put in the water. And then the second one is a Sanocare PUR. This one is the disinfectant to treatment, to disinfect the equipment, the pond and the water before stocking, and also during stocking they use treat the water in case necessary. And this disinfectant is safe to use for the human and also for the aquatic animal. And then the third one is Sanocare Fit. This is the herbal extract from the herb. They use to reduce the stress, and also in the pond, in the water, they can depress they can press down the Vibrio in the water. And then the last one is Sanolife ProTap. This is the probiotic in wafer form. You can see the picture of ProTap in the bottom right. Yeah, some kind of the round wafer. This is unique product because they are designed to be slow sinking or easy to float in the water. So the shrimp much more chance to catch the probiotic and consume it. So they will much more easy to have the probiotic stay in the gut system and make the gut system healthy. The usage of each product in the nursery, they will use Pro W 50 gram after exchange water every time. With this 50 gram, they will equal with 1.4 times 10 power 4 CFU per ml. And then Sanocare PUR, this one we'll use to disinfect equipment, the tank, clean before stocking and also during the nursery time. And then Sanocare feed, they will use 100 gram per day. And then Protap, 200 gram per day. Okay, before stocking, we also need to help the farm to make sure what is the size of the animal. We need to make sure the size, to make sure what is the size and the feed that we feed them is suitable with that size or not. For example, like if the animal reach with the small one, we maybe change from a SPEC 5.8 to be 2.5 to help the shrimp to consume better, and also for the raceway. And during the nurse the animal, we also need to monitor the size of the animal. Yes, again, to adjust the size of the feed and also to see what is the growth. The growth is grown normal or something happened to the growth, maybe related with the water quality or related with the feed. So we can solve the problem faster before they get the problem will get bigger and cannot solve. Okay, you can see the graph from the bottom left and from the bottom right. On the bottom left, this is the monitoring growth of the animal during nursing. You can see the blue line, the dark and dark blue line. The dark blue line is the actual sampling, and the dark blue line is the predict growth of the animal in next tomorrow, next 3 days, or next 5 days. How is the growth will be with the actual data we recorded. And on the right hand side, when we do sampling, we also know what is the size distribution of the animal. Do they have the size variation problem, or the size variation is lesser compared to the when they're stocking? How is going? So we can action or we can manage the feed properly to solve the problem. For this nursery, they do the nursery at 20 days. They finish the nursery on 20 days, and with the size or the weight of the animal is 0.67 gram. With this size, they are quite suitable for the transfer to the grow out pond because the shrimp is strong enough. Okay, for the transportation from the nursery unit to the grow out pond, this farm has two way for the transport. The first one they use car or pickup truck, and the second one they use the PVC pipe. The first with the car they use in case of the grow out pond and the nursery pond is far in the far distance. This way they need to practice the worker because they need to spend more time and they need to collect the animal. So that means there are more possibility of the animal to be stressed during the process. But this way they get the advantage because you harvest them, you collect them, you catch them. So you know what you can sampling. You can do the sampling during the harvest. You know what is the size of the animal, how many pieces per kilo, and how many kilo you harvest them. So you know what is the biomass, what the approximately biomass to transfer from the nursery to the grow out. So when the animal go to the grow out, they are more easy to predict the survival rate and to manage the start feed in the grow out pond. Okay, in case the grow out pond is near the nursery unit, Ekachai farm will do the transfer by PVC pipe. So they will plug in the PVC, connect from the grow out to the nursery, and then drain the animal out. This way, the animal will get hurt lesser compared to the first way. But the challenge of this way is we don't know how much the animal we flush to the grow out pond. So we need to see the progress in the grow out pond. Maybe after that 3 days or 5 days, we can see what is the number of the animal they consume. So we can predict what is the growth or what is the survival rate and what is the feed consumed per day. In the grow out stage, the Ekachai farm, they have 3 grow out ponds with the size about 4,000 to 4,800 square meter per pond. They also do the water exchange during the grow out period, 20 minutes every hours. They have the pump connect with the timer to set up every hours. They suck the water 20 minutes, and they use auto feed to feed the animal. The result for the previous cycle in Ekachai farm, with the stocking in the nursery, 850,000 pieces transferred to the grow out. In grow out salinity 7 ppt. The DOC final harvest at 130 days. The harvest biomass is about 33,200 kilo, with the survival rate 93% and the FCR 1.47. With this FCR, we in Thailand we consider quite high. But interesting, this farm even the FCR is quite high, but the average cost is quite low. Okay, now we see the cost section. For the total production cost in this farm, in this cycle, the cost is about 108,665 USD per production cycle. And the cost per kilo shrimp is about 3.16 USD per kilo shrimp. This consider reasonable low for the production in the 130 days with the FCR about 1.4 something. From the production, you can see the graphic on the left-hand side. The most of the cost is feed, 64% feed, and come up with the 9% mineral and also the electricity. The electricity in this farm, the cost is quite low compared to others. So this is quite interesting. For the other costs, they are 1 to 4%, quite low. Okay, in terms of the revenue, like I said before, the cost is about per kilo is 3.16 USD per kilo. But in terms of sales, the total revenue after four-time harvest here, they are 287,247 USD per production cycle. The first partial harvest they will do on the size 28 piece with the biomass 6 metric ton. On that time, the selling price per kilo is about 7.08 USD, or sell about 42,536 USD. And then the second partial harvest with the size 28 piece also, but the biomass bigger with the biomass 10,700 with the selling price per kilo 7.58 USD per kilo. They get the revenue on that time 82,913 USD. And then the third partial harvest with the size 19.25 piece per kilo. The biomass is about 7,800 with the selling price per kilo on that time 9.89 USD per kilo. The revenue for this partial harvest is 77,155 USD. And then the last harvest on size 20 piece with the biomass 8,700. The price per kilo selling price is about 9.76 USD. The revenue for this harvest 84,624 USD. So the total revenue for four harvests is 239.34 USD. And then the profitable for a whole cycle is about 62%. It's quite interesting. They are quite high. It's more than 50%. This is the profit. Okay. Before we explain more about the reason why they can control the cost, or what is the factor to affect the cost to be quite low and the margin is more than 50%, we will put the name to make easy for the grow out pond first. We will put 3 ponds. We put the left pond is pond A. The center pond is pond B. Pond B we will call the mother pond, and pond C on the right side. From the nursery unit, they will transfer the animal 850,000 to the grow out pond, first pond, mother pond B. In this pond, they will continue culture for 58 days, sorry, 58 days. And then when they reach 58 days, they will split the animal to pond A, 350,000 shrimp. On that time, the size is about 70 pieces per kilo. And then when they reach 85 days, another time, they will split more 550,000 to pond C. On that time, the size is about 36 shrimp per kilo. And then pond A carry on until reach 95 days. Then first partial harvest with the size 28 piece, biomass 6,000 kilo. And then when the DOC 106 day, pond B, they do the partial, they do the harvest, final harvest with the size 28 piece, the biomass 10,700 kilo. Okay, pond A and pond C carry on until they reach 130 days. They do the last harvest for this both two pond. The A pond, they harvest with size 19.25 piece per kilo with the biomass 7,800. And pond C, the size is about 220 piece per kilo, the biomass 8,700. From this slide, you can see this is one factor that the Ekachai farm can reduce the cost. From DOC 1 until DOC 58, you can see they culture only one pond. After that, they will split. So that means from day 1 until 58, they have only one pond cost for the electricity, for the mineral, blah, 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 everything. They have the cost only one. Compared to the normal way, if the normal way, we will stock 3 pond, pond A, pond B, pond C, and the electric cost will be 3 pond, the treatment cost will be 3 pond, the chemical cost will be 3 pond. So the cost will be triple compared to this system. This is one of the main reasons that the Ekachai farm can make the cost low compared to the other pond, other farm in that area. Okay, for the feeding program, Ekachai farm, they continue to use SPEC in first 20 days for 20% because they want to help the animal to more healthy when they transfer from the nursery to the grow out, because they have to facing the environment change from the one place to another place. So they will help the animal to have more resist. And then after 20 days, when the animal grow bigger, the aspect becomes smaller. So they change to use other products we call Top S. Top S is also the immune enhancer, but this is in powder form to top coat to the feed. The dosage they use is 5 grams per kg feed. And also beside the Top S, they use the mixed mineral to top coat with the feed, 5 kg per kilo feed. And then they coating the feed again with the fish oil to help the leash problem. And then every week they will feed the animal with the ProTap 5 kg every week. 1 week, 1 time, 1 week, 1 time, to make sure the gut system is secure and healthy. For the grow out pond, they also have water management system, and we also send our staff to help the farmer to monitor and manage the water management. Here is some parameter they will check every day. Vibrio, they will check every 3 days. Water exchange, they do every day. The probiotic program, they apply every day. The mineral program, they also every day. And every week, they will do the disinfect program. So that means they apply the disinfectant every week to dilute or to reduce the number of the Vibrio in the pond. Okay, you can see the several parameter they check. For the everyday routine, they will check pH, alkaline, ammonia, nitrite, mineral like calcium and magnesium. For the Vibrio, they do the Vibrio test every 3 days in trim and in water with the TCBS agar. Water exchange, they do every day, 30% in the grow out pond. Probiotic program, they apply every day of ProW 100 grams per day. For mineral, they use the calcium chloride, magnesium chloride to increase calcium and magnesium ion in the pond. And in case they want to increase the alkalinity or pH, they will use sodium bicarbonate. And again, they will disinfect the water every week with the PUR. 1 kg per area 1,600 square meter. Beside the water management monitoring, they also do the shrimp health monitoring. They will do the health by check through the microscope every 10 days. With this, they will check the condition of the hepatopancreas, the external parasite, the gut. So to make sure the health is in the good condition, no any other sign of bad factor or stress factor. In case they found some kind of sign, they will action immediately to prevent the problem become from small to be big. Every day they will do one time. They will do on the spot at the farm. So here is the short from this video. We found a few of the animals with strange things. You can see some of the animal on the left hand side. This is the female shrimp. They already formed the gonad line to be ready to breed. And then on the right hand side, this is the spore sac for the male animal. So that means with this system and the feed management, water quality management, you can have the healthy shrimp show the sign of the mature until they're ready to be bred in the pond, in the grow out pond. Okay, for the conclusion, this is why the Ekachai farm they choose the nursery system, because the three key factor. The first factor, with the nursery, Ekachai farm feel they can control the quality of the animal before stocking to the grow out. So that means when the animal in the nursery phase, they can manage the health, they can boost the health. For example, like if the animal come to the farm and not so healthy, so they can manage, they can reboot, recover the animal to be ready to go to the grow out point. And during the nursery phase, they can boost the animal to be better immunostimulant, better immune system, and also with the better feed quality to make the animal is perform ready to go to the grow out point. And with the nursery system, they can do the production cycle faster. Before the Ekachai farm have the nursery system, they can do 2 or maximum 3 cycles per year only. But after they use the nursery system, they can go faster. They can make 3 or 5 cycles in 1 year. So that means in 1 year, the cost of production will be diluted because they can produce more animal, more biomass. And then they choose a good quality product for Ekachai farm. They even some product they are more expensive compared to other product in the market. But if you compare in terms of application, one dosage, you can get the lower price actually. And the last one, you know, in the first slide, Ekachai farm was located in the low salinity area, so they use the recycle system. 100% recycle. That means the water from grow out pond will not go out. They will running into the discharge water and then go to the treatment unit and go to the reservoir pond. Recycle. So that means every time you apply the mineral or every time you apply the lime, they will stay in the water and you recycle that money. You will not flush out that money. So you will save the chemical cost at the end. This is the many interesting for the Ekachai farm to learn or to study. Okay, in case you have a question or you have a comment, please visit our website at worldwideweb.inveaquaculture.com. Leave your question there, leave your interest there, so we will respond to you. Thank you very much today for your attention. สวัสดีครับ